A lot of great things are going on in my life right now. There's less than 6 months until my wedding. My best man's becoming a father right now as I'm recording this video. And March Madness is here, which means I can lose my money on something other than NASCAR betting. All that's great, but we all know the reason I'm on your screen right now. It's because it's the 5th race of the NASCAR season at Vegas, and there's paint schemes to review. Let's go. In case you missed out last week, Kubota's Orange Day sale event is still going on now, where you can find the year's best selection with the best deals and the best 9th place finish at Vegas with the worst paint scheme. 3. There's a lot of people pissed off about Austin Syndrome's penalty, and I've given it a lot of thought, and I still don't care. The guy is going to be a fluky win from the playoffs regardless of a 50-point penalty or a one-race suspension. And Ty Dillon was going to finish 87th at COTA regardless of if he got wrecked or not. So let's just move on. 6. When I first saw this car, I thought it was sponsored by Lear, the tonneau cover company. Turns out that's L-E-E-R. This is L-E-A-R, which is a global tech company. And to think I was actually about to give you a 10. 9. Noah Gragson returns to his hometown track this weekend, where besides a 6th place finish in the spring race last year and a bunch of top 5s in Xfinity, he's done absolutely nothing. The good news for Noah, though, is that I did ask Twitter AI who was going to win at Vegas, and they gave me Noah as a long shot pick. You know what that means? Nothing. 6. I've already decided in my head that Larson is winning this week. Glaze on. 10. Brad Keselowski's off to a really rough start so far. He actually has more Paint Scheme Review Championship points than he does actual Cup Series points right now. Which honestly, I think that reflects more on his dedication to paint scheme perfection than his actual performance on track. Brad will turn it around. 10. Lap 99 at Phoenix was an absolute disaster for Spire Motorsports. If you ask me, I think it's a punishment from the NASCAR gods for the lack of effort they put into their paint schemes. 4. How often do you think Kyle Busch is using BetMGM? Because I know there's no way this guy's dedicated like I am. Is he betting on women's Greek basketball at 9 a.m.? Is he betting on Russian table tennis at 12:30 in the morning? Does this guy even bet on anything? I don't think I've ever seen anybody in the history of the world sponsored by a sports book that doesn't post any plays. Maybe I'm wrong, but has there ever been a Kyle Busch sponsored parlay posted by BetMGM? Isn't that like half the point of sponsoring somebody? I want to see Kyle Busch's 18-leg college basketball parlay on a Tuesday. Just like his ability to win races, I don't think he's got it in him to be a degenerate gambler. 8. Now, I know all you Chase sexuals aren't ready to hear this, but what if Connor Zilic replaces Chase Elliott in the 9 next year? Call me crazy, but he's the worst driver at Hendrick, and this paint scheme, bland. 4. Ty Dillon was a speeding penalty away from almost winning the race at Phoenix, which does not look good for the argument that the option tire is not a gimmick. I happen to love the option tire, but if Ty Dillon found a way to win at Phoenix, I have to retire from TikTok. 5. Don't get me wrong, guys. This is a great paint scheme, but they make 2 key errors. First of all, that sports clip sticker on the quarter is god-awful. I said this the last time he ran it. And the O not being lined up perfectly on the gas cap is a all-time miss. Yahoo fumbled this thing harder than William Byron with Blaney's sister. 8. Every time Blaney runs his paint scheme, it's almost like a throwback to when him and Bubba were still performing Screamo in his living room. Now he has a wife. He probably listens to Taylor Swift on a record player. 8. Speaking of an almost throwback, this is almost a throwback to when A.J. Allmendinger still had talent. 7. Mr. Busher. I have never in my life received so many messages regarding a paint scheme. My buddy here on TikTok, Wade, summed it up pretty good, but I'm going to try to sum it up better. First of all, like Wade said, Dasani sucks. I wouldn't even classify Dasani as water. Dasani is one of the only beverages on planet Earth that leaves me thirstier than I was before I drank it. When you crack a Dasani open, it sounds like a mini Sprite. That is not water. If you watered your plant with Dasani, it would probably turn into a nuclear power plant. And let's be honest, the only time you're going to buy a Dasani is when you're dying of thirst and you spend $11 on one at a sporting event or Walt Disney World. Now that I've said such great things about Dasani itself, maybe I should start to talk about the race car. Guys, here's the deal. At the end of the day, this is just a blue car. A beautiful blue car with a terribly fucking ugly white hood. I'm glad Kroger came on so that RFK could expand to a third car, but this is ridiculous. By the grace of God, if there is any Kroger representatives watching this video, I just want you to know. I watched the race this past weekend with a couple of newbies, and they all asked me, what is on the hood of that bagel car? You're trying to establish brand identity when nobody even knows what the fucking logo is. You know what would do better at establishing brand identity? Making a beautiful looking race car with a blue hood that matches the rest of it and putting Kroger on the hood, not a shopping cart. I assume by sponsoring a NASCAR that you're trying to attract more people to your stores. I regret to inform you, you're doing the exact opposite. I'm half tempted to go down to Publix right now and buy every single case of Dasani they have, just so they're not purchased at a Kroger. We are begging you, Kroger, please take off your white hoods and stop putting white hoods on race cars. 9. Well, I guess just like in real life, Chase Briscoe and Joe Gibbs want to lose points because they are the only car in NASCAR that didn't put their paint scheme on NASCAR.com this week. The difference is, you can't appeal this. 0. I think I said the same thing last week, but there's no way Christopher Bell can win 4 races in a row, right? 10. I just want to remind you guys that when Wood Brothers used to have a talented race car driver behind the wheel of this car, they had 2 straight second place finishes. And they have a talented driver yet again. 7. I guess Joey needed a refresher on the restart rules at Phoenix. This Pennzoil thing is kind of a touchy subject right now because I just paid $127 for an oil change last night because I couldn't get the drain plug off of the wife's car. Because you see, whoever did it last put the plug on with the strength of Jesus Christ himself. This pains me, but I like this car. 9. This car makes it look like the U.S. Air Force is fighting Obi-Wan Kenobi and Luke Skywalker. Kind of cool. 9. I'm kind of getting tired of making the same old jokes about William Byron, so I'm going to give him this week off. Besides, this is about the point in the season where he starts to fall asleep anyway. 7. Just like my buddy Tyler says, Toddy G never misses. Except when he does. 10. Sonny D and Monster? God, I feel bad for his blood sugar level. 9. Zane Moneymaker Smith came up clutch for me yet again with a top 10 finish at Phoenix. Zane, I love you. 7. In honor of Cole Custard, I visited Andy's Frozen Custard the other night and got the Cole Custard. And Cole, you may not be the greatest at driving a cup car, but God, you can make a good custard. Wasn't too sure about having pretzels in my custard at first, but Cole, you got it right. 10. I bet everybody is waiting for me to make references to the Backstreet Boys, but I'm better than that. I just want someone at Legacy to tell me why their paint schemes weren't on NASCAR.com last week. Without you guys, all this paint scheme review is going to be is incomplete. I felt like I showed you guys the shape of my heart at Homestead, and now I want you to quit playing games with it. But John, I guess as long as you love me, it'll be okay. But this paint scheme ain't much. Looks like you ran out of room. 2. And guys, please, I'm begging you to stop with the Dollar Tree Harry Gant paint scheme. 5. It breaks my heart that they've ruined the Nasty Beast cars. 6. Maybe I'm just an uncultured idiot, but real American beer looks and sounds like what they'd use in a live-action version of King of the Hill. 4. Airline! Credit to Alex Bowman for not pulling a Cody Ware and strangling Eric Almirola after that Xfinity race. That move sucked. 8. Speaking of Cody Ware. 3. Suddenly everybody's talking about how terrible Ty Gibbs is running. I've been telling you guys this for over a year. Ty Gibbs will never win a race. 6. Not only does this car look great, but check this out. They incorporated the number into an ad. Consumer Cellular is going to take over as the #1 carrier in the world if they continue to do awesome shit like this. First a Brad Keselowski flip phone, and now this? Plus the number and the money symbol look like it came straight off an episode of The Price is Right. 10. Today was a happy day until I laid eyes on this race car. Now I'm on my way to therapy. 0. It's Carson Hocevar's 50th Cup start this weekend. John Hunter Nemechek told me it takes about 100 starts for you to get your first win. I think he's wrong. Hocevar can win this week. 5. I was surprised and happy that a lot of you agreed with me that Red Bull could do a lot better with their paint schemes. You know who would do a lot better? C4 Energy. 7. Cocodrile. If you're like Daniel Suarez and you or a loved one was affected by the Catherine Legg experience, you can dial 1-800-GET-THE-FUCK-OVER-IT for compensation. 7. And big baby scumbag paint scheme of the week goes to...
Money in my face, what? Hoes in my face, what? Pocket full of money, I ain't running out of space. What? Mama said, baby, you done came a long way. Woo. Still eating ramen noodles, bitch, I like the taste. Dale Earnhardt, nigga, do you wanna race? What? Mirror, mirror on the wall, bitch, I look great. Woo. Daytona 500, high speed chase. What? Put you in your place, yeah. Bitch, get out of the way.